This afternoon, we're joined by Chief Gary Ludwig. He is the fire chief for the Champaign Fire Department, and he was recently appointed as the president of the International Fire Chief Association. Chief, thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's an honor to be here.
Yes. So, my first big question to you is this. Could you tell me what are the three biggest issues that fire departments in our local here in central Illinois faces right now, and what do you consider some of the solution to those issues?
Well, the first one is not only what affects us here locally in the central Illinois area, but it's also nationwide. It's a problem that I've seen in my travels, and that is budgets. I don't know of any fire department, and if there are very few, that have more money than they know what to do with. And so we, as fire chiefs, have to learn to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars and make sure that we're being efficient and we're using the money to the best of its ability and making sure that we're still delivering services at the same cost that we might have done 2 or 3 years ago. And so those are the challenges that we face, but we have some very innovative and very smart fire chiefs out there who find a way to get things done. So you're faced kind of with the issue of doing more with less. So that's one of the biggest issues that I see out there right now is the budget and what we need to do to make sure that we're still delivering those levels of service to our communities at some of the same budget amounts that we did 2, 3, 5, 10 years ago. One of the other biggest issues that is impacting our profession, not only again locally here, but it's also nationwide, is the health and safety of our firefighters. We're just learning now of the magnitude of what we're exposed to as firefighters, the carcinogens that we're exposed to in the fires, the diesel exhaust that comes off our trucks, and how they cause cancer in our profession. So we're learning more and more about that. I just learned about some legislation that was introduced in the Congress about PFAS. That's some chemicals that are manufactured we found in our turnout gear, and we also find that in the foam that we use when we try to suppress fires. And there's several bills in front of Congress that just got introduced to instruct some of the government agencies to start looking into this issue and see what they can do to find out the cause and the magnitude of its impact on firefighters in cancer. So the third issue that we're really facing is, again, almost back to the same issue as number one. That's about delivering service, doing more with less. Our EMS call volumes are increasing dramatically. We keep seeing that going up more and more each year. There's more of a need from the community for us to respond to EMS calls, and probably the most prominent reason for that is the fact that our population is growing older. Individuals who were the baby boomers of the 50s and the 60s and the late 40s, and they're all maturing and coming of age. They're all turning 65 years of age or older. And as a result of that, what's happening is they're requiring more health care as they grow older. And so we're seeing more and more calls along those regards for our calls for service.
It's interesting that you touch on the increase in EMS calls, because I have noticed that some fire department or some city is closing, or cities I should say, is closing down their ambulance department, and now they are employing private persons to take on that aspect of the job. Would you say that is a wise idea? Would it really come out to saving from a budgeting point of view, or would it be better to leave this particular job with the fire departments?
Well, I'm always going to be a proponent for fire-based EMS. I always believe that fire-based EMS is the best model out there, because not only is the individual getting multiple bangs for your buck, not only is the individual capable of fighting fire as a firefighter, but they're capable of dual role, multitasking type of things, including responding on an ambulance. And the other benefit you get out of a firefighter is that you look at the Fair Labor Standard Act. Anybody who works over 40 hours, you have to pay them time and a half. Whereas a firefighter and a police officer we don't have to be paid overtime at time and a half over 40 hours. We can work up to 56 hours in a work week because of the Fair Labor Standards Act with the 207K exemption. So I'm always going to be a proponent for fire-based EMS, but it's still up to each and every community to see how they can best deliver care within their community, and also while still being good stewards of the taxpayers' dollar.
Okay. We are in a what I would consider one of the most critical time because from my experience here during the winter season, I normally, well, I don't know if I'm correct, but I think there may be an increase in fires during this time of the year. How prepared and ready are firefighters, and I'm going to zoom in this now to here in Champaign, to respond to these instances whenever they occur?
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter spring, winter, fall. It doesn't matter. Summer. It does not matter. When the bell hits, we respond. I'm very proud of our firefighters and the response time that they have to be able to get out the door, and then also our response time to getting to the scene, which is less than 4 minutes average time here in the city of Champaign. So it doesn't matter if the fire is in the fall. It doesn't matter if it's in the winter. We still respond. We still do what we have to do. As I like to say, we're the first responders because there are no last responders. There is no 912 on the phone dial. There's only 911. There's no one else to call after us. And so I'm very proud of our Champaign firefighters and the job they do and the capability of what they're doing regardless of the season of the year.
In terms of staff, persons to build your team, would you say that you are at that level where you would want to be in terms of having enough firefighters?
Yes, in fact, we're working on some studies looking at our deployment models and our staffing models, and we are very satisfied with the level that we're currently at. Of course, one can always say you could always ask for more, but at the same time, we have to be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollar. We can't be frivolously spending the money on something that's not needed. So we are able to strike a good balance of where we're at right now. We have 3 personnel on each truck. We have good deployment around the city, and I'm very happy and satisfied with our levels and staffing at the current time.
It might be a little controversial, but I notice, and I've spoken to persons who raised the concern that you only have one female firefighter here in Champaign, and I think maybe there's 2 over in Urbana. Is there a specific reason why we are seeing this low level of recruitment for female firefighters? Are they not interesting, or is it a case where this is just considered as a male job?
So there has been all these theories and what people devise as solutions to the fact that it's not only females, but we also see a decrease in the amount of minorities that might apply for the fire roles that we have. And so there are a lot of theories behind why that might be. I tend to think that what happens is that we have been a mostly white male-dominated profession, and so what happens then is you have a lot of family that also goes into the profession. So my father might have been a firefighter. Well, then all of a sudden the son becomes a firefighter. So what happens is you have firefighters who've been, again, mostly white male-dominated profession, that they serve as role models for members within their family. And so those opportunities really haven't been there for underrepresented groups such as females and minorities. So we're working on trying to change that dynamic, and I'm very proud of what we've done to try to change that dynamic and try to change that situation, not only here in Champaign, but around the country. And we came close to, we had almost 3 females within the top 10 on our list. And unfortunately, one missed the physical testing by, I think, 4 seconds. Another one that I know she would have made an excellent firefighter, she tore her rotator cuff right before the physical testing, so she was not able to do it. And then the other female who again made a great firefighter here, she was snapped up by another fire department before we could get to her, and by the time we got to her on the list. And so I was very satisfied and very happy with our efforts to reach out to underrepresented groups just recently on this last hiring process, and again, it demonstrated well that that we had 3 females that would have been easily within the top 10. And we just hired our first African American male in a period of time. He was pinned last night, and we have another African American male that we've reached out to recently and offered a job to him also, and it looks like he'll be starting after the first of the year. So we continue to not only try to attract females to this profession, and many females are excellent firefighters, but also the other underrepresented groups, including the Spanish population, the Asian population.
Okay. So do you mind then to tell me what is being done to attract these minority group to being a part of this noble institution?
Sure. So one of the things that it is creating opportunities and awareness. So I was very proud of a recruiting video that we put together last year that had a diverse group of firefighters on there and talked about the benefits of being a part of the Champaign Fire Department. And it was only 45 seconds long, and it said, here's where you apply at the end of the video. And we encouraged people to come join our team. We had a Hispanic male in there, a white female, an African American male, and a white male. And so it was a very diverse group, and we encouraged people to come and join our team. And then at the end of that 45 seconds, as I said, there was an area, a website where they could go and apply. We had over 39,000 views of that video as a result of us using that social media feed on Facebook and specifically targeting certain areas such as Champaign. We targeted Peoria, Decatur, areas of Chicago, again, to attract what would be demographically underrepresented groups.
You spoke about the risk that firefighters faces each day in this profession and what they're exposed to, and some now are like developing cancer and stuff. Is there anything being done, not only here in Champaign, but in the state, to, one, identify what is causing these cancers, and to provide help for these persons who might be exposed and diagnosed with this disease?
Yeah, well, what's causing these cancers is our exposure to certain carcinogens. So what we're trying to do is limit our exposure to carcinogens, and we're trying to understand more how these cancers are affecting us. We know that there's an increase in testicular cancer among male firefighters, more than the general population because of our exposure. Colon cancers, thyroid cancers, things that we know there's a higher level of occurrence in firefighters than the general population. So we're trying, and there are researchers out there trying to understand what is the correlation between the carcinogens that we're exposed to and why these cancers are occurring. But what we can do in the interim, which we are doing, is trying to limit ourselves to these carcinogens. We're doing things on the scene, such as we are hosing our structural gear off before we put it back in the truck. We're using baby wipes to wipe down our neck and our hands to get the carcinogens off. We're cleaning our gear more frequently. So we are also, there's an excellent book put out by the IAFC called the Lavender Report that talks about, again, preventing cancers in firefighters. And one of the things that it talks about in there is, one of the sayings is shower within the hour. And so we want you to get back, when you get back from the fire, and we want you to shower within the hour. Get all that smoke and all that residual off of you. I can tell you I've been to many fires, and I never did sometimes shower within the hour. I might shower the next day. And it's amazing that when you're in the shower, you can smell that smoke coming out of your hair. You can smell it coming through the pores in your body, things that were in your body. And so, we're encouraging firefighters to shower within the hour.
Okay. All right, that's it for me. Is there anything else you want to add that I may not have covered?
No, just that, we as firefighters, we have one purpose, and that's to serve the community. And we have a tremendous amount of dedicated firefighters here in the city of Champaign with the sole purpose of only serving the community. And I'm so proud of everything they do and what they do. And I'm glad and I'm proud to be associated with them.
All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks.